Hey, it's Danny Wood here. There's going to be times where I mute the microphone and I lean in another direction because I have to cough, and that's because I'm sick. So I don't look the greatest, but I'm here to help you anyways. So I want to ask you guys, this is a quarterly Q&A where every quarter or randomly once in a while, we'll do a meetup where you guys just literally ask me any question you want, and then I'll take the time to address it and think on the spot of how to resolve that issue. So how to create a landing page for free is a question. Lead generation is a question. I'm showing up because I'm new to you and enjoyed your present. Oh, showing up. Orange Beach, sorry you got sick. Thank you. I'm sorry too, but that's cool. It was worth it. I got to meet you, so that's good. Following up on leads. Okay, we got a lot of questions here. This is good. Okay, so I'll start from the top. There are a number of CRMs on the market. The question is, what is a good CRM for realtors to use? That's a hard one to answer. The one that makes everybody want to punch themselves in the face is when somebody says the one that you'll actually use. And it's kind of true. All databases are relatively the same. So it really is the one that you actually log into and use. I'll point out a couple of the highlights. So Top Producer. Top Producer is a good one that a lot of agents use. It's relatively cheap considering what most databases go for. A typical CRM will cost, say, between $50 to $100 a month is like a common price point. But Top Producer, I believe, is like $35. So considerably cheaper, and it's real estate specific. So it's really cool. So Top Producer is a good choice for a lot of people. We're going to be doing a webinar coming up on iExact. iExact CRM. Let me pull this up for you as well. And I guess what we'll do, Shihab, is I'll make a Word document answering these questions, linking everything that I talked about. Okay, so iExact is another one. And I'm actually going to be doing a full webinar on iExact coming up. I'm in the talks with them to schedule that for you guys. And we've already done a full webinar on Top Producer in the past. If you go in the archives of our library, you'll see a webinar and even a discount on the monthly rate of what you'd be spending. So we can get you some money saved there too as well. So stop video. So iExact and Top Producer are both real estate specific ones. BombBomb isn't really a CRM, but it kind of is. And regardless if you have a CRM or not, you should have BombBomb because BombBomb is how I communicate with most people through video. And let me stop these pages. Oh my gosh, this internet is bad. I want to stop my video to see if that speeds things up. All right, we got Top Producer, iExact. And BombBomb. Now there's a couple unreal estate related ones that I really like. One of the main ones would be Agile. And this is Agile right here. Okay, so let me work backwards and share with you why I would choose one of these over the others. The reason why I would choose Agile over any of them would be because of the pricing. So if I click on the pricing tab, it's going to show that it's free, which it is. So the free account gives you and 10 users, so you and your admin and your team or whoever would have access. You would be able to have up to 50,000 contacts, which most of you will never hit, so that's good. Data fields, lead swing, all this stuff right here is what you get for the free version. Then if you want to have some extra bells and whistles, like an email campaign built right in, then you would have to start paying $9 a month. So to me, $9 a month is way better than 50 or 100, which is what most CRMs go for. So this is why I lean towards Agile, is because the pricing is so good and they have a scale as you go model. Like you can add on extra bells and features that other CRMs just don't have. Like some CRMs, you can pull a list of all of your contacts, but you can't actually call and dial through your CRM. Well, with Agile, you can. And I think we did that one on, I think it was the enterprise that we were using. Anyways, one of them, you can actually call and text your database directly through your CRM. So I like Agile. The problem with it is that it's not real estate specific. So if you did upgrade and do like the email campaigns, none of the emails are going to be written for real estate lead follow-up. Um, so you're going to have to write your own. But what I find with most of the other CRMs that are specific to real estate, if you look at their lead follow-up anyways, you're probably going to want to rewrite them to begin with. Like I was never really happy with the canned response type of stuff that they had made for us anyways. So if you do go with Agile, you're going to have to create your own checklist, create your own follow-up plan. Whereas with Top Producer already has the follow-up plans built in for you that are real estate specific, and they've got checklists built in. The main reason why I wouldn't use Top Producer, and I could be wrong on this, but I don't think they work with Zapier. So if I'm ever deciding on what tool am I going to use? Am I going to use a new piece of technology? Like let's say, for example, I'm going to use a new booking calendar so that people can book one-on-one coaching calls with me. So if I'm looking at all the apps and programs that have a scheduling feature, the first thing I'm going to do is come to Zapier and search the name of that company. So I'm going to search Top Producer, which I don't think it will be in here. No. Top Producer. This might be them. If that's them, that's awesome. It is them. They're in the nice. Okay. That just gave them like 1,000,000 bonus points. So why I like and check with any tool that I'm about to use or invest in, I want to make sure that they work with Zapier, because we've done a webinar in the past where I show you how Zapier will take information out of one thing and put it into another. So an example of that would be, you could say, if I get any Facebook leads, automatically add them to my Top Producer and send them an email, and then send me a text notification that I got that lead. So you can set all of that up, and we've done that in the past on Zapier. So if I am ever working with a piece of software, I will always come to Zapier and check to make sure that they work with it. Now, let's say Top Producer doesn't, which they do, so that's awesome. But if they didn't work with it, then what I would do is I would go to Google and I would type in the name of the company you're looking at, and then add the word versus, and then hit space. And look, it gives me all of the top companies that they would be working against. So iExact, LionDesk, and Follow Up Boss. So then what I would do is I would be like, oh, iExact. Okay, so then I would take iExact, go to Zapier, and see if they work with it. And then LionDesk and Follow Up Boss. So this is my little trick for how I find software is definitely it has to work with Zapier. That's like my number one rule. If it doesn't work with it, I'll find their competitor that does a similar feature um, or similar service, and then I'll work with them. iExact, they might not be listed in Zapier right at the moment, but they told me that they are getting there, and they might already be right now. And so that's awesome. So iExact and Top Producer are both really, really good. BombBomb is not really a CRM for lead follow-up, but it is a tool that you use for lead follow-up, and it's the best tool for lead follow-up. So kind of like a ball in the air type of thing. If I was to get one over the other, I would get a CRM for sure, and a toss-up would be between Top Producer, iExact, and Agile. I think those are pretty good for the price. There's other ones on the market, but they're pretty expensive. Okay, so that answered the CRM. how you create a landing page for free. So when I create landing pages for free, there's a couple options out there. I use Weebly, weebly.com. And I think it logged me in, so I'm going to log out. Yeah. Actually, I don't know how to log out. That's weird. Let me go to Weebly on a normal browser. Okay, so we use Weebly for pretty much everything. I mean, other than the group coaching program that's built on WordPress, and we pay for that. Weebly is where I make landing pages. Weebly is where I make websites, like my Brokerage Nation website. I made that on Weebly because I didn't know Brokerage Nation was going to take off. Had I known that it was going to take off, I probably would have built it on a WordPress platform because it's a little more sophisticated. But for everyday lead generation and building landing pages based on different topics, Weebly is so user-friendly and simple. In fact, I have a video. I want to pull this up, and we're going to email this to you when we upload the video, okay? So I'm going to pull up this YouTube video I have. I have a step-by-step tutorial. It takes about an hour showing you how to make landing pages for free using Weebly. And we make an open house page, a house value page, a buyer alert page, and I think a contact page. So Dan Wood Coaching Weebly. Here it is here. How to make free landing pages for real estate leads. So if you Google search that, I'm going to put the link in our show notes so that you have this. But if you want to watch the video like right now after our call, that's what you search. Dan Wood Coaching Weebly. And it's how to make free landing pages for real estate. I might pop into it in just a second and show you some of the stuff we're working on, but let me see if I can answer some other questions as well. Lead generation. Next on the list. That's a loaded question. Lead generation for sure is loaded. So right now, Facebook lead generation is probably the easiest answer for most people. You can do Google. The challenge with Google is that you also have to have a website in place, whereas with Facebook, you don't need a website in place. For the lead generation question, where are you located, Canada or the US? Canada. The reason I asked that question is because some of you are in the US, and Facebook has a new rule that when you're a real estate agent and you're advertising listings, they remove most of the criteria that you can use as a targeting. And that's a shame because it used to be so good. Now for the Americans, it's not as good. It's kind of broad, meaning you have to target 18-year-olds, which most 18-year-olds are not buying a home. So it's kind of like you're wasting some of your ad spend on people that you already know are not going to be buying or selling a home. So, okay, so the main thing for the lead generation is when you log on to Facebook, you have to log in as your own profile, so you as a person, and you have to have a business page. So I have a business page. It's Dan Wood Coaching. But if we go to it, you're going to find it's like a ghost town. I don't even care. I run all my ads through my business page, but I don't actually post things on my business page because I don't care about likes. shares or comments or views or impressions. All I care about is like getting a name, phone number, and email. So to get a name, phone number, and email has nothing to do with you posting on your page. That's more of like a branding play, which takes a lot of money and a lot of time. And most agents don't have the budget, don't have the patience, and don't see the value. So as long as you make a business page from scratch, like you have a business page and you have a personal profile, then you can run Facebook ads. Okay. So I'm going to create a Facebook ad right now. When you're logged in, you'll see a little button that says create. While this is loading, what do you think of Craig Proctor's system? I am planning to attend a seminar and just wonder, I also found Thinkific. I've never heard of Thinkific, if I'm even saying that right. What do I think of Craig Proctor's system? I think it's worked for a lot of people, and I think it's not worked for a lot of people. So it depends who you talk to. Um, I think anything can work. I'm sure a lot of people are like, oh yeah, Danny's program stinks as well. And then a lot of other people are like, oh, I love his stuff. I'm watch his videos all the time. So I think my personal opinion, because I never looked too deep on it, would be that the monthly cost and expense would be a lot when you could probably put that money that you're paying for the coaching into the actual ad spend on Facebook. That's my opinion. Ads. Okay, so I'm going to create an ad by clicking add. Man, this is taking a long time to load. I'm going to answer more questions while it loads. Do you have any opinion on agentlocator.com? They have a CRM website as well as lead gen. I do have an opinion on Agent Locator. I think they are the best package deal. Period. For the price that you pay for one, their website beats most other websites. So that's big. So for out of the box templated website, Agent Locator for the price is one of the best. So that's one of the biggest bonuses. Two, their CRM is actually really, really good. Most of the times when you buy a website and it comes with a CRM, it's like the website is good, but the CRM is trash. Or sometimes you buy a CRM and they give you a free website and the CRM is really good, but the website is trash. Whereas with Agent Locator, it is really good for both the CRM and the website. They also do lead generation for you as well, or you can do it yourself. So if you want to save the money and do it yourself, awesome. And if you just want to have no headache and have them provide leads for you, they can do that as well. And I highly, highly recommend Agent Locator. Okay, so now that we're in Facebook, we're creating an ad. Of all the options that we have, the main one is lead generation right here. So lead gen. Don't worry about the other stuff. It is just confusing and unneeded. All right, so I'm going to do lead generation. Lead generation is the option that gives you name, phone number, and email of the leads. Whereas the other ones, it's like you'll get likes and comments and shares, or you'll drive them to your website, but you might not convert the lead on your website type of thing. Whereas with lead generation, you don't need a website. You don't need anything. It will, it's the best bang for your dollar for sure. So I have to pick another account to have. I have to do this one here. You guys won't have to do this step because you're just a regular person. I have to do it because I have me, plus I have another business. So I just got to switch over to my other account. While this is loading, how often do you follow up with leads on BombBomb who are tire kickers, but definitely buyers in a year or so? Good question. So I have a rule that if a person is in my database, that there's two rules. There's actually three. The first rule is that they're in the database and they have a next call date. Based on my gut, at the beginning, I'll be like, okay, I called them, they didn't answer. I'll call them in 3 days. 3 days later, I call them, they answer, and they're like thinking in a couple weeks or a month. So I'll follow up then. And then finally, we get down to it, and they're like, we're not moving. We can't move. Whatever. Then I would set them as a January 1st of next year. So they always have a next call date in place. Um, the other rule is that they are always identified as a buyer, a seller, or my sphere of influence. And my goal is to get them from buyer or seller into sphere of influence. So you have to have your database broken down into different segments. You can't just have one big mess. Let me hit start over. Okay, I'm going to go back to lead generation. And then, okay, so going back to your question, how often do you follow up with leads on BombBomb who are tire kickers? So the main thing is I'll get them set up on homes that match their criteria, and I'll use that as a drip. And then our system has a rule that every 3 months you have to update the people. So I connect with the people, even though I know they're still tire kickers. I'll even tell them that. I'll message them and say, hey, Joey, I know you're just kicking tires. You're not exactly sure if you want to move now or next year. You're getting the listings that match your criteria. I just want to let you know every 3 months I have to do this to make sure that you still want it. And you don't even have to respond to me right now. You can respond to me next year when you're ready to move. I'm just going to keep this going for you, okay? Okay, talk to you later. And then I would send them that video. So it's for me, it's definitely an internal compass of what makes the most sense. But definitely no longer than a year will pass. And I usually stack them all so that the first call is on January 1st. That way I have a big list so I can hit the new year running. Okay, so with the Facebook leads, you want to pick lead generation and then hit continue. I did a speed test before this webinar, and it said it was ultra fast, and I could stream multiple devices in HD. That is not the case. This is not ultra fast internet. Okay, so first step is make sure that you have your right business page loaded because you don't want to run ads through a different business page. I don't know why a lot of real estate agents, they'll have like 5 different business pages. I'm like, you only need one and you really don't even need it because you don't use that. You don't use them anyways. So anyways, pick the business page that you need the ads running on. Step number 2, you can skip this stuff. Step number 2 is the audience. So this is where the important part comes in. I'm going to hit the edit button. It's targeting all of Canada. If I was in the US, it would target all of the US. Now, if I was in the US, there's going to be a checkbox up here asking you if it's a real estate listing ad. And when you check that off, then you won't be able to change things like the age, maybe even gender. There's a couple things you can't switch. One of them, the biggest crying shame, is you can't do your city. So let's say I'm Oshawa. I want to choose Oshawa as a city. Whatever you do, it's going to automatically add a 25-mile radius, which is too big. Like, I don't want to target these people out here. And I definitely don't want to target the people out here because I wouldn't want to drive that far to do business. If I could focus all of my marketing dollars in this little pocket, I will. So I'm going to choose Oshawa only. And it's I'm keeping an eye on this number up here. Roughly, there's 150,000 people that I'm targeting right now with just Oshawa. For me, I might even add Whitby. So I can add multiple cities and do current city only. Okay, so we got it to 240,000 people. Now, this highway here, see that, let me zoom in. See this yellow line? This is a major highway right here. And there is a lot of people that drive through and stuck in traffic. What do people do when they're stuck in traffic? They check their phone. They're on Facebook. Well, I don't want all these people passing through seeing my ads. So I only want the people that live there. And that dropped the number down to 180,000 people. Before, Facebook was targeting everybody, 240. Now I'm going to do people who live, 180. I mean, yeah, maybe other people visiting and on vacation and whatever in your city, they might be moving there. But might is a long shot. And if you have a limited budget, because most people are going to be like, well, what's a good budget? Typically $5 to $10 a day is what most agents spend. If your budget is $5 to $10 a day, then hitting 180,000 people is good. Trying to hit 3 million people, you don't even have enough of a budget. So it doesn't matter. I could add 20 more cities, but the fear of missing out isn't going to matter because I'm going to be missing them anyways because I don't have the budget. So I'm going to focus my marketing dollars on the areas that I really care and want to work. So for me, let's just pretend that's Oshawa and Whitby. Now, I am going to try and change the age, and I'm going to put it at 35 and above. Now, when you create a Facebook ad, it could use that as a red flag, and then your ad will be disapproved because you changed the age. And if that's the case, then put it back to 18. But if it does slip through and you can advertise, you might as well advertise to people that have a better chance of actually being in a position to buy or sell a home. So I'm going to put that at 35. Under the demographics and targeting, I'm going to hit the edit button. Now, if you're in the US, you guys aren't going to be able to do a lot of these things because of the Facebook rule. They got sued with the fair housing, and they don't want you to be discriminatory based on how you target, because some people were actually running ads and dropping a pin and using it as a negative value in like lower income housing areas. And that's bad. But we're not doing any of that. We're just being specific of where we want our ads to be shown. So I'm going to try and get this to pass. Now, under detailed targeting, I can exclude people. So I'm going to exclude real estate agents. And I want to do it by title. So see how it says interest, employer, job title, fields of study. I go after the job title. So real estate broker. Real estate agent. And then you can also target industry specific things that you know only a real estate agent would like. For example, Brian Buffini. I mean, only real estate and mortgage people would even know who he is. Tom Ferry. Mike Ferry. Your local real estate schools and boards. So Ontario Real Estate Association usually comes up, but it's not. So let's try Maria College. So that's the school. Inman. Inman News. Things like that. So you can get as creative as you want, but I'm just trying to limit. Like I don't know the actual number in Toronto, but I'm pretty sure there's 80,000 real estate agents on the Toronto board, which is a mind-numbing number. That is ridiculous. how many real estate agents are on that board. So if I'm in the Greater Toronto area, I don't want to spend money on my competition seeing the ads. Not that I care. I just don't want to waste my money. I don't care if they see the ads. I just don't want to pay for it. So once you've done this and you're happy with the targeting, hit the Save Audience button and then name it whatever you want to name it. So whatever, call it your area. So I would say Oshawa, Whitby, no agents, and hit save. I'm not going to save it because I don't want to save that. But if I did hit save, then the next time you create an ad, you don't have to do all of the stuff we just did. All you would have to do is up at the top here, it says use a save audience, and it would be in here. And you could just use that, and it would pull in all of that information without you having to type it out. Okay, so we got the audience. You saved it. They have placements already selected. You want to hit edit placement, and you want to uncheck Instagram. Instagram advertising is really good if it's a branding play. So if you're advertising to your brand, like building mindshare of who you are and what you do, and you're targeting your sphere of influence and your database and maybe your farm area, then Instagram's awesome. However, if you want leads, Instagram is not awesome. So because it was a lead question, I'm going to uncheck Instagram. Scrolling down. For the daily budget, most people are going to be comfortable with like a $5 a day budget. Is good enough for most of you. You can set a lifetime budget where you're like, I'm willing to spend $500 or whatever your total number is. You can do it that way as well. I like it slow and steady, nice and consistent, so I do it as a daily budget. And we'll set an end date. So I'm going to click set end date. And Facebook is automatically going to change the end date to a 1 month from where you are today. So what you want to do is click on that. And let's say you didn't want it running for 1 month. Then I would hit the back arrow and be like, well, okay, so it's the 15th today. We'll just run it to the end of the month. Okay. And now Facebook is telling me $5 times the number of days we selected equals a potential $80 I'll be spending. I've seen some people where instead of hitting 5.00, they forget the point, and $5 a day turns into $8,000. Okay, so don't worry about adding the points. Just hit the number 5 and click out. Facebook will add the point. So good tip there, because I saw a girl, she made a big mistake and she spent a ton of money, like a lot of money. Okay, I want to hit continue. Cheryl, if you're still here, I'm not sure if you are. I know you had a question about Facebook audience, like remarketing, and I'm gonna do that for you right here. Okay, make a little video for you. Okay, before we get to that part, we're going to create this ad. So I'm going to do a single image or video is what I want selected. When I scroll down, things are going to change real soon. Coming up, probably within the month, our ads are not going to be rectangles anymore. They're going to be more square. So, I mean, I don't really like that. I like the rectangle images better. And it's going to change the way everything is laid out with our Facebook ads. But for now, we're going to stick with a rectangle image. So I'm going to close this button. And I'm going to hit the upload image button. And let me just grab a fake image. I'll do this one here, just listed. Okay, so that should be pulling in the image. Yep, okay, that's grabbing that. Okay, so while that image loads, let me scroll down. Do. These little icons right here give you previews of what they would look like while they're being delivered in different areas. So this would be like um, the mobile news feed. I always switch it over to desktop news feed because it gives you a larger version to work with. It's just easier to look at. Okay, so I always do this where I add the headline. I say pictures, price, and info. Pictures, price. Actually, you know what? Pictures, price, and more listings. Minus, 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 minus makes like a little line, and then add the arrow. And then right here it says pictures, price, and more info. The description underneath that, I would say view this and thousands of other MLS listings in the Oshawa and Whitby area. I might remove all that. Let's just see. Yeah. So see how it has like Oshawa ... It didn't carry it all on. So I'm just going to keep it nice and clean. So I'm going to say view this and thousands of other MLS listings and delete. Yeah, that's much cleaner, right? I think it looks good. Okay, so under the primary text is going to go right up here above the photo and beneath your logo and page name. So you can come up with any text you want. I wouldn't give away the farm. So I wouldn't actually put the price and tell all the details about the property because I want people to interact with me so that I can find out what they're looking for in a home. Other real estate agents, and I totally get it, they put the price, the address, like all the information because they don't want anybody inquiring unless they're a serious lead. So go for it. Whatever floats your boat. Most agents want more leads at the end of the day. And so if you want more leads, then you don't want to scare people away by showing them a home that is $200,000 more than they can afford. So yeah, the only time I really do put the price is if it's a super cheap listing or if it's like really, really affordable, then I'll put the price. That's like fire. People love those listings. Okay, so for this, I would say just listed by Dan Wood, sales rep, ABC Realty. Nine oh five 903 5442. View this home. No, I don't want to say home. So there's certain words you use that can trigger the ads to get disapproved. Sometimes it's like home, family, that sort of thing. View this. What do I want to say? Did you see this listing? Question mark. For showings. No. Yeah, short and sweet. I don't like how my phone number, let me see how it's two lines and it puts like the 905 and then it breaks it up. I don't know if I like that, so I should probably add a little bit more. That's pretty good. All right. Yeah, I like that. Sometimes I like putting in the bracket of the area that I'm targeting, just because it helps people relate to it better. Okay. So I'm going to change that from a sign up, and I'm going to make it a learn more. And that changes this button right here because nobody wants to sign up for anything, but learning more, they're okay with. So scrolling down, we're going to create a new form. You want to name this form because if you want to integrate it with Zapier in the future or your CRM or other reasons, you want to be able to pull in the proper form. So name it. I would always name it like 123 street name, like whatever the name of the street, like the address of the street. That's what I would save the form name as. So I'll do this as 123 street sample. All right. And then, okay, so for the options, you want as much volume as possible. You can limit it for higher intent. It adds an extra step. I'd say the more the merrier, so more volume. Go for that. Intro. I changed this to bullets. View thousands of listings. Oshawa, Whitby, Durham region. Pictures, prices, and more info. Okay, so pictures, price, and more info, that went right there. These bullet points just kind of went few. Oh, you know what? I want to clean that up, put that there. I think the bullet points look better when it's 3 bullet points and not 4. There, that looks way cleaner. And now I have to just get rid of this line because I don't like that. So that's on the next step. Under questions. So under questions, I don't want this learn more info. So I would say free access. Free access with a ... leading them on. Okay, so what type of information do we want to collect? So if you click the, first of all, I would hit this to delete it because we don't want their full name. We want their first name and their last name. If you have it set as full name and you gather this, what's going to happen is you're going to get an Excel sheet that you can download with all of your leads. And it's going to put the name, first name, and last name in one column. Well, if you go later and import that into a database, it's going to import their first name and last name as their first name. And it's just going to complicate things. If what I said went over your head, just have blind faith. Just hit the delete button, go to add new question, user information, and you want first name. And then you want to do the same thing again, add question, user information, last name. Okay, some of you will want the phone number as well. So if you want the phone number, that'll be under contact fields and phone number. If we were running like a house value, a home value type of ad, then you could actually pull in their address. So you would do their street and their address. and maybe postal code or zip code. But the more you ask, the less you'll get, meaning less people will actually follow through and click the next button. So only do that if you're doing a house value ad. This is actual based on a listing, so it's more of a buyer ad. So all I want is name, phone number, and email. Now, if you don't like the order, like I don't want them to read this ad and look over here and be like, oh, email. I don't want to give away my email. So I kind of like put their first name and phone number last, because the last thing people want is for you to call them. So it's a little trick. I wouldn't say it's a trick. It's just a good practice that the first thing they read is not their email or phone number. The first thing they read should be their name. It might not make a difference, but I believe it does. So under privacy policy, you're going to click on the privacy policy. What you have to do on this step is you have to go to your website. So I'm going to go to just any page on my website. And if you scroll down to the very bottom, you should have a privacy page. Let me go down, 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 down. Terms and privacy. So there's always like these little links at the very bottom of your website. You're looking for the one that says privacy. I was just on a coaching call with a guy literally right before this webinar, and his website didn't have a terms and privacy page. So I said, okay, go to your brokerage and use their terms and privacy page. His brokerage didn't have one. So then I said, okay, go to your franchise one. Ultimately, you should have your own. That's the real answer. But to get it done, that's what I suggested to him. So you really should go to your website, grab your terms and privacy page. And then where's the Facebook ad? It says link text. Do not paste it there. Where you paste it, link URL and hit required. Okay. And then on the thank you page. So let's take a look at this. So it says, thanks, you're all set. I delete all this. I say, click below to get started. Website link, I would take them to my website. So here's the deal. You probably don't want to take them to your homepage. It's probably best, because in this ad we were talking about listings, that I would take them to my listing page that had a search feature so that they could search all of the listings on our MLS. That's why I was able to say search thousands of listings, because we literally do have thousands of listings. So whatever your website is, don't go to the main page. You should go to your website, find the listing page, and then paste that URL in here. Okay. So I'm just going to like pretend that my listing page would say listings. All right. Good to go. Okay. So now that all that is done, you'll hit the save button. So I'll hit it. All right. And then hit finish. Now that ad is done. If I scroll down all the way to the bottom, there's going to be a confirm button, which I do not want to hit because I don't want this ad running. But if I did, what would happen is it would take maybe a half hour to 24 hours, depending on if you've ever run an ad before or not. And they're just going to make sure that there's no red flags. And if there are, they'll notify you. So for mine, the red flags might be the fact that I had an age range of 35 plus. So if they flag it because of that, then what I can do is I can come back and go to the audience section over here on the left as a tab. And then I would edit that age. Okay. So that little formula right there is a service that we run for people, where we run the ads for you on a monthly basis, or you can literally just do it yourself. I physically just showed you everything I would be doing for you anyways. So that 100% will get you leads. I don't know a person who does that approach and doesn't get any leads. And the people who have said that they didn't get any leads, they actually did. They just didn't know where to get them. So let me show you where your leads will go, okay? So I'm going to click on the Facebook logo. And you're going to want to go to your business page. Um, oh my God, load. Please load. All right, here we go. All right, Dan Wood Coaching. So you'll go to your business page. There's going to be a tab on the top for publishing tools, I think. Okay, so there's a drop down. It says more. Publishing tools. Then once the page loads, on the left side of the page is going to be forms. Okay, while that's loading, because it's taking forever, I'm going to answer more questions. Somebody says, have you ever used hotjar.com? Is it useful to embed on your website? I have never heard of that, so I'm not sure. I'll take a look at it in a second. Another question says, would Zapier automatically send that info to my site and CRM in real time? Um, the answer is yes. The real answer is that you have to set it up though. So I have a YouTube video already done that shows you step by step how to set up Zapier to grab all your leads in real time and add them to your database, email them to yourself, and you can even text it to yourself as well in real time. And by real time, it's a 15-minute delay. So every 15 minutes, Zapier will check. So it's not in real time, it's in 15-minute time. Coming back to where do you find your leads on your Facebook business page? Now that the page had loaded, it's over here on the left. It says lead ad forms. So click on that. And then what I would do is once this page loads, yeah, here it is here. So I would grab this URL up at the top and I would bookmark it, like add a star, add it as a bookmark and email it to yourself or your admin. That way you always have like one-click access. And when you do have leads, so say this is the one we just created now, which it is. If you had leads, it would tell you how many leads you have. And then if you wanted to download that, you would click the download button. There we go. That answered that. Hotjar. Okay, I'm going to take a look at what Hotjar is. I've never used it to know if it's good, but I can look at the service they have and tell you if the service is worth it. We have 3 minutes on this call, and I said I was going to try and do the loading of your database and remarketing. I want to add that as a future session for everyone because we won't have time to do it right now. Hotjar, the fast and visual way to understand your users. No. Most of you don't have enough traffic for that to matter. So whoever asked that question, can't really tell. Whoever asked that question, maybe that would be useful if you had a lot of traffic because then you would know where you're losing people. But if you don't have a lot of traffic, you don't have a lot of analytics and it doesn't matter anyways. So don't use that. Yeah. All right. Let me answer more questions. If there's any more questions, go ahead and ask. We had 2 more minutes. Mm-mm. Somebody says, can we add automatic MLS searches to Agile? Agile is not a website. So Agile would be your CRM. So no, you wouldn't be able to add that. Thanks. I won't use Hotjar. Good. I just saved you money, hopefully, and time. Dan, would you help making a beautiful website? Yeah, we can share a computer screen, and I can help you with suggestions and give you like a wireframe that I wouldn't be able to make the website for you because that's just not a service that we do. We don't have the staffing in place, and I wouldn't want to disappoint you. But I certainly know what your website should have and give you suggestions on that. So if you want to book a one-on-one coaching call, I'm going to type it out. It's www.bookdan.me, I think. I hope. And that shows you my calendar, and you can book any day and time you want, and we can share a computer screen. Would you have a webinar on how to make a website? I do. That is the one on YouTube. When you search Dan Wood Coaching Weebly, that will show you how to make a landing page from scratch using the Weebly platform. Now, if you didn't want to use Weebly and you wanted to use something else, you could, and just use this video as a theory because I show you this is how we would do a seller page, this is how we would do a buyer page, and you can use all the resources that I used. It's just like the actual how you do it part will be different. I only suggest Weebly for landing pages. If you want IDX listings and a blog and landing pages, then I would probably look at something like Agent Locator or something equivalent. So I guess the best answer is I'm going to type out my cell number, 905-903-5442, and you can text me and we can chat about direction. What's the best blog format? Rephrase that question because I'm not sure what you mean by, do you mean like blog platform, like WordPress, or the structure of the blog itself? Uh, oh, yeah, hands down WordPress. So there's 2 different versions, and most people will make the mistake. So, um, Word WordPress.org versus .com. So one of the major differences, because there's two WordPresses, and people don't realize this. WordPress.com and WordPress.org is that WordPress.org, you'll find the free WordPress software. Shihab, which one do we use? I forget. Is it WordPress.com or org? I think it's .com. Yeah. So, oh, we use .org? Okay, Jesus. So one gives you a lot more functionality over the other. And apparently we use WordPress.org. I thought it was the other way around. So WordPress.com is kind of like you're building a blog on their platform. So like all of the content goes on to them. Whereas with WordPress.org, it's yours and it's on your platform. So you're still like using the WordPress tools. And technically, like if they went down, your blog would go down too. But at least you can change the theme and you can change the functionality, and there's a lot more that you can do with a .org. It's just more technical. So you have to do your own hosting. You have to do your own like design and adding all the plugins and everything. If you don't want to do any of that, then .com is the way to go because everything is just done for you. My answer is the .org is harder to do, but in the long run, it's what you probably want. Yeah, .org is what you should be using. Unless you're a brand new newbie and you're not going to take blogging seriously, then you might as well do .com because it's going to be a heck of a lot less headache. Somebody's been using Google recommended blogger.com. Yep, that's another one out there on the market. Unfortunately, it's not as popular as you would think that it should be. And so, I mean, that's another good one. It's free. You can do blogger.com as well. But really, if your I would get a website that has a blog built into it. That's what I would be doing. Like whatever your website is, it should have a blog feature. So you shouldn't be adding and creating content on some other place. You should be building one big continent instead of a bunch of little islands. I'll take this one last question because I do have a coaching call to get on with Cheryl, who's actually on this call right now. So that's good. So I don't feel as bad. But Contactually as a CRM. Yeah, that's one I should have suggested. Contactually. I did a webinar on them. They're really good. What's really cool about Contactually is it almost makes a game of your lead follow-up. So every day it creates a list of people that you should be following up with. And then the other Contactually is now part of Compass. Well, that's one thing. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. So anyways, you might not, if you're a competitor of Compass, you might not want all of your contacts built within their software. But anyways, Contactually is a really cool, fun, useful lead follow-up tool, but it's missing some core functionality I found that Top Producer had and iExact had and Agile also has. So you can try it for free, I'm pretty sure. And if you like it, it's good. Contactually is good. It works with Zapier. What do you use for your videos? What do you mean, what do I use for my videos? To record my screen, to do the editing? What part of it? Creating and editing. If you have an iPad, LumaFusion is hands down the best video editor for a mobile device, LumaFusion. Now, it doesn't work on Android, so that doesn't answer everybody's question. So another one that does is Filmora. So Filmora is a relatively inexpensive video editor platform that a lot of people can use and edit. The one that I have always used, Camtasia, but it's expensive. It's like $200 or $300. Pull this up. I like it because it's a screen recorder and a video editor. It's like an all-in-one. Works really good. I have a MacBook. You like Fantasia? Okay, Fantasia. Oh, sorry, Camtasia. Yeah, Camtasia is good. I mean, I like it. There's other ones that are way more sophisticated, like Adobe Premiere, but you basically have to go to university to friggin' learn how to even save a file. So the Camtasia is easier, and what's even easier than Camtasia is Filmora. It's kind of like the amateur video editing software. And then if you want to do it from a mobile device, LumaFusion, nothing beats it. In fact, I don't even do my video editing on my computer anymore. I only do it on my iPad. using LumaFusion. Cool. All right. That was a good little Q&A session. I appreciate you guys being interactive and actually talking and asking and participating. So I'm going to end this call for everyone, and I'm going to get on my call with Cheryl. So Cheryl, if you're still here, I want to give you a call privately, okay? And thanks, everyone. I want to stop this recording, and I'm going to close it off. And then I think I'm going to make the next one based on lead follow-up, and more specifically, like follow-up plans and drips. So that's going to be the next one. Okay, bye. I'll feel better. Thank you. Appreciate you also, and great. Okay, everyone, I'm going to hang up. Thanks, bye.
Hey, if you want to close more real estate transactions, get more buyer leads, and get more seller leads, click this button right here. It'll take you to our real estate group coaching page. Also, if you like this video and want more, you can subscribe by pressing this, or you can check out some of my past videos here. Enjoy!